So I am back with another video, and for this video, so I actually wasn't gonna watch this series, to be honest. I am a Star Wars fan, but I actually was not gonna watch this series. But my brother was the one who was like, hey, we should watch this together. I'm gonna watch it, so. And so I went ahead and I watched it with him, and I am so glad he told me to watch it because I'm just glad. If this was a good series, so I think the whole thing with Star Wars Visions was that every episode, I think it was designed by like a different studio or something like that, and I thought that that was like a terrific idea. It was very creative, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I was here for everything. The series was good. They totally better have a second season because they left off on a staggering note, and I am not here for unresolved story plots and cliffhangers. So I hope they have a second season. Now, unfortunately, I heard that it's not canon, unfortunately, but that's understandable because they said something about the continuity of the series with the main storyline and all this kind of other stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Now, anyways, I'm just gonna jump right into it. So the first episode, I'm gonna take this by episodes, by the way. So episode 1, this episode was like, I don't know whose idea was to put this as episode 1, but they did a good job, and this episode hooked me. Like when I was not having second thoughts after episode 1. I was like, okay, I really am glad that I started watching this. I was so happy that I started watching this after the first episode. Like I said, I was already hooked. Anyway, so the first episode, there was like a lot of things that stood out to me that really caught my attention. And so, at the beginning, they show you like, the setting. That I think this is like post Order 66, and after like, the Jedi Order has fallen, and there are Siths going around, possibly rogue, that have been, just terrorizing people. And basically, this guy, I guess he's like kind of like a lone swordsman, so to speak, and he just happened to be in this, at this town, or he probably was there looking for them when the Jedi that showed up, not the Jedi, the Sith Lord that showed up. And so, okay, so props number 1, this was a female Sith Lord, okay? I don't know about y'all. I haven't read the books. I never read the Star Wars book. I only saw the movies and, like, the shows like The Mandalorian and whatnot. But anyways, this is my first time seeing a female Sith Lord, okay? Unless I missed something somewhere, this is my first time seeing a female Sith Lord. So I was like, okay, we've got a female Sith Lord. I'm here for it. Or a woman Sith Lord. Excuse me. And then that doggone lightsaber umbrella, are y'all kidding me? Why is it that like the bad guys have all of the cool stuff? The lightsaber umbrella, that's like what is it, whatever his name, Palpatine with the little thunder fingers. Why is that like an exclusively like a dark side ability? Why all the bad people gotta have all the good stuff? Anyways, I low-key think that that's conditioning the people to think that bad is good, which I'm not okay with, but that's a soapbox I'm not gonna get on. Anyways, she comes up there with an umbrella lightsaber. That was so cool. I was like, no wonder y'all are losing. Look at what y'all are going against. First of all, she's skilled and she has an umbrella lightsaber. And then this guy comes out, like a samurai, and of course he has a samurai lightsaber. That was cool. And I like the whole like theme, like the way they designed this, first episode with like the black and white, the kind of like old school Japanese setting. I loved it. And she comes and she's like, who do you think you are? And he has this little like machine that they're trying to like fix up or whatever. And then she runs and she does like an attack, and he like stops her like mid-attack with the force. She's like, what? And I thought that was pretty cool. That reminded me of like the Kylo Ren stop the thing with the thing, when he did that in the movie. I'm not gonna even speak about those last 3 movies. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, so he stops her attack mid-attack with the force, and I was like, wow. And she was like, "Are you a Jedi?" Like thinking he's a Jedi or whatever. And he's like, "Oh no, personally I'm not." And then like he pulls out his lightsaber and his lightsaber's red, and then she becomes confused. She was like, "Now wait a minute, you're not a Jedi. Are you a Sith?" Like, "Oh, so you're a traitor," thinking that he's a Sith that I guess defected or something like that. And he was like, "Oh, I'm not one of those either." Come to find out, I guess, he's probably just, like I said, one of those lone, just like, a lone fighter, I guess, because, like I said, post Order 66, there's probably plenty of, like, people who were either Jedis that were still out there, that didn't get, whacked off, basically, or just individuals that were really strong with the Force that weren't Jedis, they were just strong with the Force. But anyways, so she was like, because, she was like bragging about, "Oh, this is the first, it's been a while since I've killed a Jedi." And I was like, "Oh my God, she really is evil." And so he was like, "I'm not a Jedi, and I'm not one of y'all's either." And she was like, "Whatever, it doesn't matter anyways." And so it really, like, when they started fighting, and she like gets on like the log and she like slices it, and then he falls into the water and they're like fighting. First of all, that scene was amazing. Like, I had to take a look at that a couple times myself. That scene was amazing, and it perfectly paralleled the scene from the third episode with Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi when they were fighting on like the lava with the two green lightsabers. They had the red lightsabers and they had, the green lightsabers. All this talk of red lightsabers, and I'm up here dressed like one. But anyways, it perfectly paralleled that scene, and I was like, this is artistry. This is wonderful, And then too, this also, because I feel like every episode kind of had like not only like a different theme, but it explored a different side of like, I guess, a theory, a Star Wars theory. And in this first episode, it was like more of, not that the color of the lightsaber changes per se, according to, I guess, like the psyche or the energy that the person's putting off, but that it just stays the same. Which is why I guess whenever she saw him with the red lightsaber, she got confused. But of course, that could have been just a lightsaber that he like picked off somebody after like he, took down another Sith Lord. Doesn't necessarily mean that he was, on the dark side. Just like whenever Anakin was fighting Obi-Wan on the lava, his lightsaber was still, green, and that man was, please, he was wrapped up, tied up, tangled up in the dark side, but he still had a green lightsaber. So I like how they, like I said, that was a really nice parallel, okay, with the third episode. That was really good. And then once he, beat her, he took the Kyber crystal or whatever. So that, like I said, that episode was so good. And with the parallels, like I said, I can't get over that umbrella lightsaber. That was something else. That was like a bad mamma jamma. Oh, and another thing, if I'm not mistaken, she had an afro, okay? So she had an afro. Alright, I was like, oh, okay, so not only is she a woman, Sith Lord, but she's a sister. Okay. I'm feeling it for real. I mean, it sucked that she was bad and, she was a Sith, but still, I thought that was, hey, I thought that was cool. I'm like, y'all been here representing, alright. But anyways, I thought that was really great. But yeah, like I said, this first episode had me hooked. And then the second episode, now this episode was kind of cute, I guess. Like, it kind of seemed like a chibi episode, kind of. That's kind of like the artistry that, chibi to me. I don't know. But anyways, I thought it was kind of legit, though. It had, like, Boba Fett in there and Jabba the Hutt. But anyways, I thought it was, like I said, it was a very legit episode. Basically, so, had that, I think he was, like, a padawan, apparently. And I think this was, like, during, like, the Clone Wars. And so this young padawan, and he met, I think his name was G. He was a Hutt called G. And so they formed a band with some other people. And basically, I think G was like related to Jabba, and Jabba was like mad because he wouldn't like participate in, I think it was like it was like his family syndicate or whatever. He didn't want to participate, and at first he didn't even know what he was doing wrong. I'm like, bro, they're just trying to make good music. Leave them alone. And like Boba Fett was like, you're coming with me. And he was like, you're coming with me or I'm gonna shoot your friends. And he was like, okay, fine. He was like, I don't even know what I did wrong. And so I think they basically found out that like it was because he didn't want to, like I said, participate in like Jabba's family syndicate basically, and that's why he was about to get executed. And so it was kind of sad because, the young guy, I think his name was Jay, he was trying to stop, Boba Fett. And he had like a lightsaber and he was like trying so hard to use it. And it kind of reminded me of like I said, the trilogy that shall not be named, where there was a particular character who, well, he was able to wield the lightsaber, but I guess it just didn't work out for him as a Jedi, which I didn't really understand why, but we're not gonna go into that. But anyways, he was trying so hard, but he just couldn't do it.
What? Oh.
And so he manages somehow to convince them to let him play one more concert to try and convince convince Jabba to let him live basically. And they were sweating bullets, boy, they were sweating bullets. But they did it. They actually pulled it off, and they managed to convince him to not execute him basically, and Jabba became one of their sponsors apparently. And I was like, oh, he was even like tapping his, I don't even know what you would call that part of his body, to the music. Even Boba Fett was having a good time. So I was just like, well, thank goodness they accomplished it and he didn't end up having to put his head on the chopping block or whatever part of the anatomy of a hut would be the head. I don't know. But anyways, that was kind of cute. I thought that was, at least it ended well. Could have ended with, somebody dying. Because let's just be honest, things could have went a lot differently. Jabba is about as ugly as his personality is. Or rather, his personality is as ugly as he is. We all know that. So like I said, it could have went a whole lot differently. It ended well. Okay, I appreciate that. But yeah, like I said, this series was good and it kicked off very well. Now, like I said, I am sad because it's not canon, but I mean, it's still, Star Wars. So, and then two, I guess you can kind of theoretically, it could be like, this is taking place in like somewhere in like a multiverse or like a parallel universe, something like that. Which is, I guess, if you, want to think of it that way, which I will, because since it can't be canon. But anyways, but yeah, so these two episodes were great. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments.